You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Want to do all these? Look, we got to talk big uglies, and that's just the offensive side. We still got plenty to come on the defensive side, and that's where I want to angle your attention next, Chris, because I'm curious. I mean, you've obviously covered a ton of fall camps, nose to nose, up close and personal, and they all sort of have their own identity as it relates to the team. And hey, the offense is doing this, or the defense is having this success. So as an example, turnovers are part of the conversation here recently. So we're thinking, we love that. We even got T-shirts printed up already. Take 3. We've had them for a while, looking to break them out again. But do we like it for the offense? So these types of questions, in your mind, where do you feel like when you get into camp, like who's quicker to maybe be a little bit more ahead? Is it the defense? Is it the offense? And I'm basing this, Chris, in a question I got, or a comment I got from an old football coach of mine, and again, a football coach of mine. So, you know, this guy has seen some real talent. And he was just texting to me. He's a Red Raider, long time, lifelong, whatever. He's seen a lot of Tech football. He was recently at a practice, and he's telling me our defense is as advertised. And then he does actually go on to say, I don't know if the offense is struggling or the defense is the best we've ever had. So I think a lot of us trying to figure that out. But when you kick off a camp, what do you expect, offense versus defense, as far as the timeline for progress?
A lot of it is based on personnel, like in continuity, like what all you have back. Because there's been some years where I would say the offense should be far ahead because they've been together for 2 or 3 years and they've been running the same system and the same plays and all that stuff. This is kind of a fresh start for a lot. Based on there's a lot of new parts from a player standpoint, and you're dealing with different schemes. I would have thought that would have been how I would have answered that the defense would have been ahead of the offense just in general. And part of it is because some of the offensive line pieces have been missing, so you've been lacking some continuity there. Plus the quarterback missed most of the spring. You know, and I think that is some of it as well. You've had a starting wideout like in Reggie Virgil to get kind of, you know, managed early on in camp. So, you know, there's some things there that I would have said that just gave the defense an advantage. Plus, you know, you're not trying to overwhelm people with scheme on the defense. You're just turning guys loose, and they happen to be really good on paper. And I think that's probably what your former coach probably saw is that. Because I want to get to these other position battles in a second. But like Coy Aiken went out of his way after the scrimmage and was asked about the defense, I think, and the offensive defense somehow. But he just brought it up on his own. It's like his eyes just lit up, and he starts looking at people and shaking his head. He's like, "These guys are really good, man." And like we have to remind ourselves of this that. You know, we're getting our licks in too, and we've you know, because I think during the scrimmage there were some touchdowns scored, some red zone stuff scored, the running backs apparently did really well. For those concerned about the offensive line, your running backs apparently did very well in said scrimmage. Joey went out of his way repeatedly to point this out and all that. But I mean, Coy was like, "Yeah, it's defense is going to be a problem. I don't know if we'll see a better group all year." So, and this is ideally anytime in a camp or a spring game, it's all the same. Something good happens. Well, there's got to be something bad, right? You know, I mean, because, one team wins or dominates or one side of the ball wins. Well, that must mean that the other one really sucks. Or maybe it's just that group is just elite. But I think right now you're seeing some balance. But I do think that your defense is really earned some serious respect in fall camp to this point, and they certainly did over the summer and even going back to spring. So,
well, I'm sure you would mirror, Chris, because you've seen them on level ground, just physically a different group. So whatever that means versus your own offense, physically a different group.
Passing the eye test, yeah. I mean, it's like when I was at Media Day a week or so ago. It's just like it's a different looking type of athlete for sure. And I've stated this. You know, I have a fortunate being on the sideline, and so it's a good. I'm able to eyeball it. Like when you've been on the field before with like a LSU in a bowl game, or Ole Miss in a non-conference game, or Oklahoma or Texas or whatever over the years, and you could insert some other opponents there too. It's just like you look at it and go, "Oh yeah, there's a difference here." Like, and it's just in your face. You may have 5 to 12 guys that look the part. They have 60. And,
Right.
and now that's not the case anymore. You look like those teams physically, size and depth, and just like lots of. I mean, even some of these freshmen like Chet O'Feely and your Ansel Nador and your Eddie Smiths and Charles Andersons, like some of those young defensive linemen that we're not even really going to spend a whole lot of time talking about. They are extremely impressive looking individuals, and they're just waiting for their turn, which may be another year away.
Let's stick with what's happening defensively, because I guess to me the most interesting thing I heard from Coach McGuire, and we've seen discussed here locally in some recent days, is John Curry in a star category.